Welcome back, everybody, to day one of Masters Madrid. I'm Yingsu, once again joined by Mimi and Kakuka, and it's time to talk about the second matchup of today. It is Loud versus Gen.G. Let's start with Loud because, Mimi, we talk about, teams missing out. NRG are not here, DRX are not here, but Loud are always here.
They absolutely are. The color was blue before, we're back to being green, because this team always shows up to international events, and what makes it so impressive is that it seems to consistently beat a new roster. Yeah. Loud looked great last season, and they made changes in the offseason. They lost a player who a lot of people considered the best in the world in Icebox, but now they've picked up QCK instead, and Sada, as he seemingly always does, has reinvented this team and made it back to a global.
So it would be normal to think that if you have not been following Americas and you see this change and you see that Icebox is no longer in being such a staple for the team, that probably Loud has suffered. And maybe, not seeing them being seed 1 is all that we can account them for. I understand that we've seen some funky compositions, here and then. They rely a lot on the Viper. We've seen some Phoenix. I think that, coming into the tournament, that might be considered a weakness. But at the end of the day, it's exactly what you said. These guys have a lot of experience, most of them, into those international events, and the effect and all that trajectory has to put into play today.
Yeah, let's talk about those cons, because Sadak has clearly been cooking. Do we like it? Is it our flavor, or is it an overcook?
I think that it's something that can work, but I don't know for how long is the thing. So they're playing Breach Phoenix on 4 out of the 7 maps that they're playing, which is crazy to say the least. But the idea behind it is you have double flashes. You can go around, on example for Ascent. You can be splitting into a site, use flashes on both sides, overwhelm teams. You have great retakes, you have strong site hits, but what you give up is you have no dive agent. So if you're playing into a heavy Sentinel comp or a team with a lot of stall, you really can get punished for that.
Yeah, exactly. Also the double controller or on Ascent. Maybe we even see the Phoenix there. But I understand why they want to choose the Phoenix. I understand that the ultimate is very powerful. The flashes are very weak, in my opinion, because of how they stand. And I think that it is, from the outside, pretty easy to counter. But once you're in-game, there are so many things that you need to remember once you're going up against this combination, that the conditioning actually favors Loud. And that is one of the reasons why they managed to make it so far with this kind of compositions.
Yeah, we've seen teams counter them out. EG, for example, did very well at that, even though they lost the series, pulling out the Odin, shutting down because there was no dive to get through the stall. It is possible to counter this out, but the thing is, the comp has a lot of little intricacies, a lot of little flash combos, little plays that can still catch you off guard, that I think give it more depth than kind of initially looking at it would lend you to believe.
Yeah, of course. This is the 7th consecutive time Loud have made it to a global event. A lot of other IGLs, they didn't make it, but somehow Kakuka, Sadak, many iterations of this roster, he's always here. So talk me through why he's always making it, and can we confidently say that this is the greatest IGL in VALORANT?
Nowadays, yes, we can definitely say it. He's been proving it, not only in the server, but actually, getting the team exactly what they need, finding the solutions inside and outside of the server, being that kind of reliable figure that can put you through the tough situations and make you a winner. Because it's very different, to just be able to roll with things, to improve things. But actually, Sadak is the kind of player that makes and creates them winners.
He certainly is. And it's not just the 7th consecutive Loud that has made it here. This guy has brought 5 different... Nope. This extremely loud, incorrect buzzer, wrong. What is right is that this guy has brought 5 different individual distinct rosters to international events. Twice with Vikings, 3 times with different players on Loud. He's the ultimate talent developer.
Yeah, and I also think that we can probably just give him the hat, right? The greatest IGL of this game. I'm quite happy to do that. I'm not sure about you guys. But speaking of Sadak, he's actually standing by right now with Mika Fabs. Check this out.
Hey Sada, can we pull you in for just a really quick question? I apologize, you have to drag your bag over here as well. So this is the 3rd variation of this team, and you consistently keep making it to global events. I mean, how do you keep doing this?
I think it comes down to us having fun. I have great teammates, so it's kind of easy when you have amazing people around you to do amazing things. So yeah, pretty much it.
Well, excited to see you guys have fun out there. Good luck.
Thank you.
I mean, they must be having fun playing some of these comps as well. But what's in the suitcase? What do you think?
His strats.
Yeah? All of them?
Yeah, it's like the
thinks
nuclear
that's-
football he carries around. He has
It's
it.
Aspas, just in case.
I don't think they'll need him. I don't think they'll need him because with QCK coming in, I feel like he's adopted the way of Loud very nicely. And Mimi, we have a quote from him as well. He was talking a little bit about how he felt about Gen.G. He said, "I know that Gen.G is one that's been showing a good game. They qualified by winning against a very strong team. This is a team that I'm looking at as a threat."
The thing is, the QCK kind of adopted the Loud way, but it's not the Loud with Icebox way. He's not Icebox. He doesn't play the Jet every map. He's not an incredible, perfect dive player in the same way Icebox was. He's instead flexing around, playing the Phoenix. He's fitting into Sadok's system, and for that reason, this does feel like a very different Loud than the one we talked about last year.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this is another reason that makes Loud the team that, you know, a lot of people support and love. It's the fact that if you change these pieces, you can see a new version, but it is still a version that works. And they're not just fixated into, for example, HyperX being crazy, just playing the crazy comms being extra aggressive. No, with Loud, you can see very different iterations and they still make it work. So it makes it in time difficult to adapt and play against them.
Yeah, Loud, very familiar team here on the global stage. But today, Kakuka, they're going to go up against what I would say epitomizes the surprise element we've seen in the regional leagues. How did Gen.G get here?
Well, basically, they beat DRX to qualify here, and it's been a very
And then
long
who did
time.
they beat in the finals? Just some small team, right?
Yeah, just a small team. You might know it. Something about paper.
Oh, I've heard
Paper
of
and
them, I
dinosaurs.
think.
Dinosaur
Yeah, that
papers.
sounds
Paper
Origami?
people rise up, paper people rise up.
No, but Gen.G, I mean, insane
Exactly.
that they made it here after what? Only being shown at Lock-In last year.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the thing. First of all, we were surprised when you look at the global news and you're like, oh my God, DRX is not making it. And when you dive into how and why Gen.G managed to make it here, how the individuals play within this roster, Lakia also back into this international stage that is going to welcome him with open arms. There is many reasons to believe that Gen.G is the threat, and especially after what we heard of Scrimbox, that they're winning everything out here. It is a team to fear.
Allegedly, the streets have spoken, and Gen.G hasn't lost Scrim since coming to Spain, which
They
is
said it themselves, right?
Yeah, they said it themselves. Reliable narrator, myself. But it is possible that they have, because they were so good in Pacific. If I were to define the way this team plays, it's just doing the basic stuff incredibly well. They're mostly playing old default comms, the good, honest Valorant stuff, but they execute on it incredibly well. Their synergy is great. They're very good at adapting. And then they also just have players who, 3 of their 5 players seem like they were having life tournaments in kickoff.
Yeah, exactly.
One of
A
those
lot
players is the ultimate rookie, I feel like, coming into
Yes.
this. And let's send it back over to Mika Fabs, who's with Karen.
Hey Karen, can we pull you for a quick question? Pacific's Golden Rookie. So this is your first Masters event. This is your first global event. How do you feel going up against the former world champions in Loud?
I wasn't playing when they won champs.
Oh! You gotta love that answer. You gotta love that answer.
I wasn't playing when they won champs. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not
If
wrong.
they win after saying that.
That's crazy. I mean, it is ridiculous how
great.
good this guy is. Let me tell you, they would not be here if it were not for Karen. Their qualifying match against DRX, very close game. And then this guy on Lotus won like 4 or 5 clutches in one game, continually stole away rounds from their opponent. It's his first year playing Pro Valorant at this level. It's his first Tier 1 team, and he was out there dunking on the very best of Pacific.
I think that what it's also important to remark is the way that they play. You were mentioning, Mimi, the standard compositions, and actually a very standardized and different way from what it's usually played in Pacific. And when we think about, you know, it's probably the perfection version of DRX that they've been trying to achieve for years, but actually didn't make it. This Gen.G has done it. And the fact that they can win against HyperX, remember, the HyperX that, you know, they might sound crazy, they might run these funky things, but they always make it far and deep into tournaments. Do not forget about that. So if they are able to interpone, to just be better with the playing standard, it means that they master what they do.
Yeah, my question is, where does Karen compare to the other rookies? Because there's some great rookies. We just saw Narrate Mimi. Do you think he's going to be up there in that kind of caliber?
I absolutely do think he is. I think that the performance he showed in Pacific looked as good as Naren. The thing is, how do you rate between those 2 international leagues? Because I think we have seen the level of Pacific to some extent not be up to what it was last year. HyperX not playing to the same level level. They've said it themselves. DRX not even making it here, whereas I think we saw a lot of teams leveling up in EMEA. But I don't think that means he's going to come to an international event and not play well. I think he can keep this up. The question is if it's at the same utterly ludicrous level that it was in their last 2 series in Pacific. I think that's a lot harder to achieve.
But honestly, I don't think that we cannot, expect him to do super well. Also because of the rest of the players that he has on the team. You have the Munchkin, you have Texture.
I mean, Texture finally on a team where he can just play the role he wants to play. He's just on Jet and he's great.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very simple to, even if today he doesn't have the performance of a lifetime, I think that we have to be fair with them and do not expect every rookie's debut on a big stage to be like Narrate's.
I expect every rookie's debut on a big stage to be like Narrate.
Well,
Yeah,
me too.
I expected him not to lie to me, and he
I
did.
agree.
So.
I mean, we talk about rookies, right? I mean, at least with the players like Narate, he played in Americas. We had
Tier 2.
Yeah, but Miniboo again coming through tier 2. But Karen, officials-wise, only has 17 officials ever. Sadak has 46 global games. Not just
global.
Just globally.
And if you tally up his
He's
time in
played
Brazil,
46.
his time in Americas,
Yes. So this is insanity, the kind of rookie going up against, the old guy we're talking about. But is this going to be the one that settles this? So if Sadak wins today, are we still believing, the old guard, they're here? Or if Gen.G wins, is it time? Maybe time's moving on?
I think we also need to think about solos. Yeah, I like it. I think that, we were mentioning all the upsets and surprises that we had throughout the year. This could be a major one, probably one that is not in many people's votes for this match. But I think that we also need to think about what I was saying, solo, joining the team, having that experience and maybe changing things up and giving this team a different identity.
Sure.
We have to be fair and talk about all the coaches that we think make the difference. And I think after seeing them today on stage, maybe we can draw some conclusions about it.
To answer your question, though, Sue, I think that I haven't moved on, but I think the world has moved on. VALORANT has moved past the old guard, the old teams. That's why so many of them didn't make it here. The teams, though, that are still here with those IGLs who have been here since day one, who have been grinding, that's the proof of the pudding that those are the cream of the crop, which Sadak has already proved in event after event. However, that's not to say that if Gen.G plays great today, that's not more faith that there is so much talent out there in younger players. Because I mean, how many times do we have to see that? We've seen it with KC, we've seen it with this team domestically, we've seen it with like half the teams here having rookies debuting.
I mean, the interesting thing is, we talk about how Karen wasn't there when Loud won the championship, but if we want to cast our eyes back to old, not just old guard, but like old guard, Lakia was there.
Yeah.
Lakia was here from the beginning. Kukuka,
He's bringing
like
The oldest guard.
yeah, but are we counting him as like the old guard, or are we counting him as a new blood?
I think that it also says a lot about him that he is able to adapt into, newer times and just playing with the youth, right? So I don't count him as old guard.
I count him as old guard.
He was there before Sadak was there, I feel like.
No, he actually was.
He was there before Mimi was born.
No, honestly, when the
quite.
last time we saw Lakia at a global event, DRX was still Vision Strikers. That's not even like a troll. Like, that's just what it was.
Yeah. And
Good old
they also
times.
didn't qualify to a global
Good
all
old
the way back
times.
then. That was when Laki was on New Turn. I mean, so much has changed
Yeah.
since this guy last showed at a global.
Yeah, and what are we expecting from him then? Are we expecting him to come out and have that experience and have a stable performance, perhaps?
Consistency. That's it. Like you say, Lakia is a steady player. He's always good at the initiator. He has good initiator utility. He sets up his teammates well. He
Yeah.
also brings the level of experience that I think will help to kind of keep the rookies stable out there.
Totally.
For those of them that this is like their biggest match, their biggest debut.
Yeah, and I think we have to dwell a bit more into that initiation. We know from what the teams have been playing and how the meta is reshaping that initiators, just because of there's less and less every time, how important it is what you do with the information, how you gather the information. And I think that having someone like Lakia with all that experience is probably what this team needed and probably one of the keys to their success.
I do want to talk about Loud again for a second, and I want to just take my moment to go crazy about Les, because for
All right,
my money, coming
okay.
into this tournament,
I'm ready.
he looks like the best player in the world. Like, just straight up. I think
So
he
Les
looks like the best.
2023?
Yes, they are building their comps on Loud in a way where he gets to play the role he's comfortable with. Every single map, the guy is playing Viper, and he is odds out the best Viper that we have in VALORANT. The guy's mechanics and aim are absolutely sublime. You don't need me to tell you that. Watch any game the guy has played before. His timings he chooses on lurks are ridiculous.
Yes.
This team lost Icebox. And that's, everyone wants to have Icebox on their
Owners.
team. But what we get instead is people to see how good Les has always been, now that he's the real star of the show.
We can draw a comparison between what Les is doing with Viper and at the beginning of the game when everybody was playing Jet. I mean, you at least had, like one dedicated Jet player. How good and how fast they were escalating and how fierce the competition was to see who's going to be the best Jets. I think that for Viper, Les it's very difficult for him to have a competition because there is no other player that only plays Viper on every single match.
No, I'm not just saying he's the best Viper. The best player.
The best player in the entire world.
Yep, he was my
I like
number
it.
one.
Yeah, I had him up there last year.
Did you
in my
forget
top 10.
Zekken again?
No,
Oh,
he's
Zekken last time.
last number one.
I mean, I'm actually fine with that, but I do think we should quickly address because losing Aspaz, as you said, is a big deal. And we talk about how, you know, Lack here is back, what we expect, but surely QCK is under the most pressure ever from the fans, from the expectations, because he's got to replace Aspaz.
See, you think he would be,
Yeah.
but I really don't think he is. I think Loud is set up in a way where they're intentionally moving his role to something that makes sense for him. And I think that with the experience of the rest of this Loud team, they are the type of team who will do a good job at shrouding him from that scrutiny, not making him feel like he has to fill in for Icebox. Sure, that might be the case for the community. There's definitely going to be fans who are putting that pressure on him. Don't open Twitter. It's not that hard.
And not only that, again, I think that we need to be fair. The fact that QCK is not having probably the Aspaz performance, can we just remember for a second that Aspaz is Aspaz? Like, no other player is going to be on that
He's not less.
position. He's because less is more. But seriously, if after, I think that this tournament could be literally like eye-opening for many people and probably big in his own development because we cannot expect someone to just arrive in here and be Aspaz number 2. You don't need that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why Loud have reset themselves. That's why they're a new Loud. Loud was Loud before Icebox, back when it was a different team, but now they're back to it again. They actually never were Loud without Icebox, but it was Sadak, but it's
But it
always
was loud,
Sadak.
and it was kind of loud.
But they were loud, but they weren't loud.
Okay, we have Loud, we have some old guard, we also have the old guard.
But we don't have the
in-
guard.
In
We don't have the
Lakia, we
guard.
don't have the guard, but we do have map select. So let's find out where our teams will be headed for this best of 3.
All right, welcome to match 2 map select presented by OMEN. We will go ahead and jump in. Gen.G, you are the higher seed. Would you like team A or team B?
We team B.
Team B. So Loud, you will be team A, and we will start with your first ban.
We ban Lotus.
Lotus, your ban.
We ban Sunset.
Sunset. And map number 1 from Loud.
Icebox.
Icebox. Side on Icebox.
We attack.
Attack. And then map number 2 from Gen.G.
We pick Breeze.
Breeze. Side on Breeze.
Attack.
Attack. Okay, next set of bans starting with Loud. You have Ascent, Bind, and Split.
Split.
Split. Your ban, you have Ascent and Bind.
Ban Bind.
Ban Bind. Okay, so we will play map number 3 as Ascent. Loud, Side on Ascent.
Defense.
All right. Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
No confiaron, pero míralo. Llego con lo mío
This is Gen.G's Masters debut, but they have to take on the former world champions in Loud. But hey, this is how they got here, by pulling off upsets. But the question is, can they do it again?
It's going to be tough. My question here in this match that we're waiting to be answered is, how good is Gen.G's prep? Can they figure out a way to crack this Phoenix breach stuff that Loud has been pulling out? They are playing a style that no one else in the world is doing right now, and I think this is really going to be a test for this Gen.G team on how well they can come up with a game plan.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about the game plan, I think that we need to go back to that map, Veto, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was very surprised, and I think Gen.G was just as surprised when they saw Loud buying something else that wasn't Breeze. And of course, they needed to take a minute to digest what is it going to be the plan. Not only they decide to buy something different, I think that if this was a bait and that Breeze had always been ready, Gen.G just bit right into it.
I think it is really interesting to see Loud leaving that open, going into that one. A lot of teams,
I wonder
when
what
they
Lex
feel
is
like
going to be playing.
Probably Viper. Very
Thank you, Mimi.
surprising.
God,
yeah,
thank
you're
you.
really welcome. Yeah, but I think it is really interesting to see them go into this map that can a lot of times be more flippy. It can a lot of times be one that is one more of gunfight, individual performances. But let's rewind and talk about Icebox, our first map in this series. I think the comp head-to-head here is really interesting. Loud play the Harbor Viper that they have played for a long, long time. But Gen.G are going into it with a Gecko KO composition, which I think could actually play up against that really nicely. Those flash combos, I think, are better than with that, say, the Reyna Gecko that we saw in that first matchup. It's a comp that you can kind of flood through these walls, fight forward on your defense, and Loud doesn't play against that a whole ton in Americas.
Yeah, we also got to mention that this is the first time we're seeing Loud playing Icebox on the global stage once again since the heartbreak they had to deal with in Brazil. So
The
Kukuka,
incident.
yeah, I need to see them come out of it here more confidence and not to throw away a lead.
I see. That's how I'm gonna call the incident. But I think that this is probably the best testing ground, the best, you know, if you want to turn things around at an international stage, this is the moment to do it. This is the way that you do it. It has to happen on Icebox. And to go back into the compositions, I think that that is going to be a very, very big clash. And it's going to come down to a lot of the preparation. And it's going to be like the match that we previously had into how to read onto the opponent and adapt bit by bit. Because of course you're going to have your ideas and they're not going to align with what you see on the server.
Yeah, and for Gen.G, you know, they have to come out here and prove that they are the #1 seed from Pacifics. You know, DRX didn't even make it here. So for me, again, I'm looking towards them and seeing maybe a closer and more competitive result.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Loud, I mean, we talked about this is a team that deals with pressure well because of the experience. But I think they definitely will want to prove themselves that losing that final to Sentinels was just an upset, that they still are the kings of the region. They've never had a moment, be it back in Brazil or once it came together into the Americas League, where Loud wasn't the best team coming from their home region. This is a rarity for this squad.
Yeah, exactly. They have a lot to prove, not only today, but throughout the rest of the tournament. They know that the world is watching, but we also know that most of the teams, by getting those reps into kickoff, they actually developed a lot more into how to read their opponents and how to overcome every single problem that they see on the stage. Now, I don't know if Loud has had enough. In my opinion, I think they needed a bit more.
But this is Loud we're talking about. I mean, we've spoken a lot about Sadak and Les, but they still got Tui's there, they still got Kawa there. These players, they don't really crumble under pressure.
I've made the mistake a lot of times of doubting this Loud team. Every time you doubt them, seemingly they come out no matter the roster, no matter who's on it.
I doubted, I was like, when did I doubt them?
I think everyone has made the mistake at least once in their life, you know?
No, me.
Oh, not you?
No,
You've never doubted, like...
Who can tell you, when they were playing against Fnatic, I literally went and take a shower, and then suddenly Fnatic just won.
Well, let's talk about this agent select here. You guys have mentioned it already, and this is what we're going to see.
Yeah, exactly. But when we were talking about Loud, no, still having the Sova that probably has lost a little bit of his effect. I think that maybe when you combo it with the Harbor, you can have a little bit more of that sectioning and actually getting the exact information that you want. But I am a huge fan of Gecko, and especially with KO here, I think it can have the right edge onto how to Gen.G can win this map.
On this attacking side, Gen.G is going to be really willing to fight forward, especially on their B hits, flashing through, taking space in Snowman. I'm looking to see how well Loud can contain that aggression and play up against these flash combos, because their strength does come into those late rounds, into the retakes, when you have this super oppressive double controller utility to work back in.
Yeah, and also we don't know what we're going to get on Breeze either. So So I can't wait to jump into this map. We talked about the old guard, the new guard. Let's send it over to some new kids on the vlog, eh? How do you guys feel about Pansy and HyperX?
Oh, it feels good to have you back, Michael. How you doing?
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, missed it?
Short little stint vacation.
Love that
yeah.
for you. But you have a great matchup to come back to here.
What a delight. To start on Icebox as well. I mean, some really interesting points from the desk. For me, this composition is such a beautiful head-to-head. And it's partly down to what we saw from Texture, obviously, regionally, and how this is kind of just designed to counter 2E's utility and put Texture in that danger zone.
How fun to see him really under the microscope here. But we have to kind of talk bigger picture a little bit. It'd be a miss. A lot of people at home have been rating Gen.G.
The stocks are high. Yeah.
Talent, analysts backstage. I mean, everyone's been talking them up. Now, it's been quite a few people's first and last mistake to doubt Loud in the past. Am I wrong to still put so much faith in Loud here? I don't know where I sit.
I'm kind of with you. I haven't bought in fully to Gen.G, but I think this matchup is the one that could potentially validate a lot of that hype. If they can come out here, even, I mean, dare I say, in a loss, put up a good performance.
No, I think you're right. I think it is just kind of how do they look? What does Gen.G look like on that international stage, which is what this is all about. Does it translate well? Have they got what they need? We know that Loud can do that. They've got, the previous reps. So there's a little tick in that box for me. But beyond that, we wait and see how they look. Because it's not like they've been flawless throughout their regular season. A lot of doubts have crept into people's minds. But we digress. As the round does begin, of course, that will mean that Gen.G are on the attack, Loud on the defending side. And actually, we've got a triple walk up middle. That's going to be Munchkin's duty to try and deal with it, at least note it early enough, but the plant's going to come through. The attention is there from mid as well, so Kaunzine doing well to dismantle Munchkin and open up the options of pinching the site. But I like what Gen.G are doing, focusing a little bit of that pressure towards CT.
Yeah, taking some space elsewhere, getting themselves set up ahead of now coming back through. But Sadak found two here for free onto Texture, and actually potentially getting a third, but Karen there to shut it down. Less for the response, but the fuse already coming through here, Lauren. The beautiful cleanup from Loud. In the blink of an eye, Gen.G unable to really convert that space into anything, any sort of security there over the site.
And you've got to say Sadak was the big proponent of that, right? The one who kind of cracked back through, dealt with that site pressure. It felt like he was really just lucky at kind of taking that CT space in the end. He kind of fell a little short when it was only him doing it. And as I said, you lose so much of the presence on the site itself. But again, explosive start for Loud here. That's a nice way to shake off any sort of doubts. All right, we got a good little beginning. Buyback here, though, for Gen.G coming in on the Stingers.
Yeah, interesting to see what the plan's going to be. Well, I'm just going to run it down towards A site here. Stacked up outside. Some bodies in position here for Loud.
What is it? We've got, 2Es just with the Ghost. Kaunzine does have the Bulldog, so there's a little bit of backbone to it. And less as well, so actually pretty well equipped for this. But those Stingers could be a bit of a surprise coming out from this.
Once they get into Maze, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see how close they can get until the penny drops, right? And it's going to be about now. Texture going to note it, 1-for-1, trade out less on the back line. Dealing with luck here, but now this is the problem, right? Can they still control this? Can Gen.G break into securing this deeper part of sight? There's so many bodies here.
I mean, the fact that actually they've been able to maintain control, 2E's going to find one with a Ghost. ETO will fall, and there's two left to find here. So unfortunately, well, Munchkin does find one at range there. I was going to say, now that it actually slows down, Gen.G in a tricky position. Karen has actually got himself a Bulldog here.
And he's been one of the players to watch, right? I know a lot of people talk about Texture, but Karen's mechanical capabilities off the charts. Not going to get it this time, though. Sadak again, just kind of adding that little full stop to the round. No threats in the end. They do recover the Bulldogs that were maybe brought into question, but they're fine. They're back in hand, and they weather the storm. And Gen.G, that Stinger bite, where'd you rate it on this?
I mean, again, if they're able to convert that into getting a little deeper on site here, once this utility kind of fades out, and Loud have these open sight lines, that's where the Stingers then become a little more difficult. Once you're still stuck ahead of sight, nobody's in nest, nobody can really pressure towards spawn or towards heaven. Stingers feel a little flat at that point.
Yeah, they fall short. Now we're going to have the Sheriff round coming out. Again, beyond this, I'm just looking for the game to almost settle in. The tempo is very high right now, very brawly. They're both willing to challenge. I want to see if Gen.G do tempo pace at all, or if they continue along this sort of trajectory. This round not really going to be the highest indicator of it, but it's a good time to test, isn't it? You look across, see what Meteor's up to, see what he's finding out. What can he maybe derive from these sort of setups that Loud are playing? Can they pull these rotations? Where's the space?
I think Kaunzine maybe spotted 2 or 3 members, Gen.G there. Happy to give up the spate, but Sadak actually almost catching the cross back here, so Loud with a very good read on Gen.G's reposition here. Meteor didn't find anything on the other end. A very, very lax hold towards B, putting QCK in a position here, but delivers on the first. Munchkin will fall.
Yeah, he's not backing away yet. He's still good for another. Yeah, decides can't fall away from yellow. That's not particularly a problem. He's still got the KJ utility to support him. You've still got Sadak controlling middle. The one thing I'll say is that Meteor's got some good info here. This might have to then be an adjustment for the round following, that if they've noticed the deep setup coming out from the KJ rather than maybe keeping more of an attentive look towards tunnel. Any more damage to be had here? Lakia with a good attempt. No connection. Now just carry on. 1v4. Spike could not be further away and comfy for less.
A clean start here for Loud, a 3-0 scoreline. Gen.G toying with a little bit of investment here to maybe try and catch them off guard.
Any ults nearby?
Nothing really on the brink for Gen.G. A couple of ultimates on the brink, though, for Loud. Kawanzin, one off the Hunter's Fury.
Lovely.
The lockdown next in line after that. Need to see a response here from Gen.G, though, because the credit's starting to stack on the side of Loud. Themselves very comfortable.
QCK looking like he wants to go for the operator, too. Kind of considering the options. I mean, he was up to 7K. He has every right to fancy his chances, but again, very different setup. Hard to get a bit of a beat on what Loud are up to, and it looks like Munchkin right off the rip wants to take space. Sadak has to respond, respect that he can't do this alone, because again, look at where they were pressured, where they were looking at the start. Sadak just waiting. He's got the support now, calling in Kawanzin. Tui's as well towards CT, so they've responded. I don't think that knife was going to really locate much. Clearing close, so they know that yellow is the next step.
Yeah, not a massive tell on the back of that. Usually still going to take the space here. Loud happy to concede. Doesn't really seem like there's any pressure point here for Gen.G to try and exploit.
No, I'm looking for that late mid presence, right? Meteor maybe starting to drift that way, but Sadak will be watching it. Whether or not he can win the fight, yet to be seen. Looks like the deep flash is being set up. Anyone going to try and utilize that? There's the high flash going in, and Sadak does find Lackey, but that's not the mid lurk. Texture breakthrough towards CT, and he looks to secure some space. But again, remember, roll your mind back. The pressure on the site was too much before for Gen.G to handle, and once again, from a similar position, less punishing. It was Sadak before, it's less now, and his Texture with a world of trouble. Less out on top, and this again, Loud have lovely positioning on this side hold.
A great awareness from Loud to understand how Gen.G are going to approach versus this composition. Talked about the possibilities behind Munchkin and Lakia to set up Texture. You see Loud just concede all this space. They anticipate exactly what's going to happen. Sadak actually shutting down Meteor at the perfect time as well.
This position is going to be the death.
Even that didn't even catch that. The recon pinging just behind the wall, anticipating Gen.G had stacked up, ready to challenge Tui's utility.
Did they note the operator? I don't know if that, I don't think I heard it rattle because it was QCK mostly holding towards A solo, so I don't know if they've quite got that. Maybe understanding the possibility, but see if they're fully aware of it now. Time to shine. QCK. 5 potential victims. So Stingers again, happy to run this. And the right read from Loud. They have the 3 players here. There's the flash to force him away. That was a kill and a half if he got the chance, but lovely side pressure. This is lovely. That's much better from Gen.G. Look at how comprehensive that take was. It's forced them into a retake. It's taken away the operator. This is very nice.
Hunter's Fury and the lockdown available here for Loud, though, if they choose to invest. And actually, weapons haven't been recovered, so these Stingers need to tuck into sight here. Still find value. Tui's caught off guard here, will fall.
Love that from Texture, staying a little bit deeper, willing to put his life on the line, and they're just willing to brawl it. Willing to fight it out. Sadak trying to take the space back, but there's still so many players. This was outstanding by Gen.G, really turning the screws on that side take. They want Sadak dead. Trying to get out with the operator, but he's hunted down. Texture close by. Can he keep hold of this? Sadak desperate to. Trying to leave a little note for them on the way out, but yeah, it looks like he's made it away for now. I'm just going to keep eyes on this because that is a prized possession and Munchkin's got it out of his cold, dead hands. Now, Mike, that side take, that pressure, there was no safety there for Loud.
I mean, you can see the value from the utility. I mean, both players force off these early angles. Nothing really from the operator, no pressure on an early angle. And straight away, Texture and Karen find kills, and early on we see this was the intention with that earlier Stinger purchase, but this time around able to find the value on the way in. And Loud have to respect it.
Yeah, that was really
so
quite special to watch.
With a response there in terms of a kill to trade back for Loud, they have tools, they have the Hunter's Fury, the lockdown to come back into that, but didn't seem feasible for them.
Well, they found something that worked. Might be running it again. That was a Mastercard Thrifty too, in case you missed it. That was still those Stingers, those Sheriffs, and now with a little bit of the ults behind it, they should be able to clear sight very comfortably. Gen.G showing us what they can do here. Obviously known for the individuals, but this execution works well. Now we see Loud with numbers, though. This could be the difference. There's the lockdown. There's the counter utility. They're starting to build back in and force them away with the spike planted. How do they deal with the back line, though?
So what did Loud get done whilst this lockdown's going through? The Hunter's Fury posted as well. QCK on the flank, found by Texture. Beautiful headshot here, and Loud seemingly just get nothing but space. Look at the HP bars here for Gen.G, but Les will remove Lakia.
Good shot, but they're still not on the spike.
No.
The defuse still not started. There are problems here for Loud. Sadak with the first tap, but it's traded. Again, still numbers sitting well enough for Gen.G. They've got to break that back line. Cowanzine desperately trying to do so. Texture, he's on it, and he's absolutely belting in this game so far. I've got to say
So
it.
active. He came all the way back through there and found a kill in mid.
Wow.
Closes out the 3K on site. Cowanzine did, for a moment, slip the net there, unnoted, but couldn't find another kill. Like I said, it was crucial, really, what Loud could achieve in that time of the lockdown. But it wasn't anything. No safety here. Tui's not even really able to secure a half defuse or anything with the Cove. Early timeout called here from Loud.
Probably the right choice, because, I mean, they've been presented something that they don't have a solution to yet, and that was with
I mean, a Thrifty
Hunter's Fury
yeah.
and a lockdown.
Yeah.
That was meant to be the one where you think, oh, okay, well, the last one they caught off guard, maybe didn't have the opportunity to use all that util. Okay, well, this time they're still on the full buy and they've got everything they need. That still worked out just as well, so credit where it's due, and starting to see Texture warming up here. That's another tick in the box.
And I don't believe this time I was really to make many adjustments this early on, especially with this scoreline, maybe to just quell any sort of momentum Gen.G are going to get off that Thrifty and a fast hit. Definitely keep our eyes on what the response is if Gen.G decide to continue with this pace, because now, obviously, Bladestorm invested, there's the pit available, a lockdown of their own in the hands of Meteor. Munchkin went off the null command as well, so definitely tools to continue with that sort of pace and seemingly get a site for free off the back of the lockdown and secure with the pit. Now, I'd have to have a bit of awareness here. Well, they want to dig a little deep. Obviously, QCK now no operator to play with. A little bit of a broken buy, actually, if you look at Cowanzine.
Yeah.
On top of that.
2 players, be able to get that full
X2
purchase.
is brought down to 600 as well.
And it looked like Gen.G were considering readdressing that B site, but back to what worked, and a more proactive beginning on the B side of the map as well for Loud, already going to post up QCK and drift back over, so maybe a little bit of a different look, but Gen.G have tools now. They have that lockdown for themselves, so once again should allow safe passage towards the site.
Actually, the response there, yeah, Les going to put out the pit to try and prevent any sort of value on site. Can he get back into the zone? Texas look at the challenge!
Look at that guy! Oh my word, Cowanzine, that's a little bit of an upset for him, but he took down Texture at the very least. I guess you're going to have to get what you're given at that point, but Lakia didn't relent. He didn't fall away, and he still got 2. And now into a 2v3. Numbers favorable to Gen.G, and that post plant, again, brutal to break. What can Tuis and QCK do? Luckily, yes, QCK did get a rifle now, so maybe a little better equipped. But that back line, it's always that last sentence in this Icebox chapter. How do you get around it? 'Cause look at the util again. QCK with a glimpse towards the spike gets warded off. Meteor willing to live close by. Again, the utility poured in. Meteor getting closer, just ensuring it. He doesn't want to even let it go to chance or lose his life, but the time's already lost. And again, Gen.G showing off a little now.
Texture with a hero play here to shut down any sort of re-aggression from Loud as soon as that lockdown's expired. I think it's actually a second ahead of it as well. So he's catching maybe a couple of people with their backs turned. You know, here, yeah, Karen's there. That's unfortunate to obviously lose less in that situation, because he did post the pit. I was curious whether or not he had the timing to get back into that to maintain, but
Oh, they're loving it.
one more round to tie things up, and even with that broken purchase previously, Loud able to maintain rifles here.
Feels almost ridiculous that they can get a buyout, right? It just felt so out of kilter.
Texture catching a stray there.
It's the first time we're starting to see Gen.G re-explore a little, already show something towards B. It's not a great deal yet, but the pace feels different already. So Loud knows something has changed. It's just what's changed.
See the pings here. They're also going to hear QCK fall back from B main here. You can see Gen.G stacking up behind this, leaving Meteor the solo lurk. So QCK will be called upon here.
This is a lot to handle. And he takes the scalp of one. Caron gone. He's going to fall back safely. Probably the right choice here, but they did lose less on the other side of the map, so almost trade out here, right? You've got less gone, Karen gone, but now where do they go? Gen.G have a little bit of the run of the map here. They can try and pull those rotations. And a lot of faith being left in QCK because they're going back towards A.
And now with a decent read on this, on the back of that information, Karen Zin's our drone, but are they expecting everybody? Yeah, it's a very late hit here. Tui's throwing up another wall, but the null command will be the catalyst here.
30 seconds left.
Gen.G going to try and brute force their way on here. Texture to lead the charge.
And Cowan's so blind. Again, these side takes between Larkia's flash, between the flash coming out from Munchkin. It is just gorgeous to witness. So well crafted that even in those final seconds of the round, when it was late, it still looks comfortable. This asks a lot of QCK. He started well, he's going to have to end even better. Third. Oh, yes. Oh, my word.
He was almost on for the adjustment there.
Yeah, I thought he might have that, but Meteor there, safe pair of hands, and Gen.G looking like the real deal here, Mike.
I mean, able to overcome Loud in a situation where, like I said, they actually timed that perfectly with the Owl drone. Only spotting Meteor, but not over-rotating. And this is something that I can notice, especially in the Secret matchup regionally. Gen.G really struggled with some of these later round hits where, you know, they don't win out on the initial plan. The perfect example here of something maybe they've cleaned up in the downtime.
They're happy with it. QCK trying to get in their faces, though. Oh, dear. You feel a bit silly now, don't you?
The awareness, obviously the knife has pinged him, so diligent by Gen.G, but Meteor, a very deep position already. All the way up to Boiler here.
Stop dipping. Not what you wanted
dry,
there.
though.
Yeah, no support, no flash, nothing. And there's Meteor striking as well. They've just found layers to this. They found availability, right? They're starting to really turn the screws. Sight still, oh my word. A little bit of damage, yes, don't get me wrong. It is a 1v3, but you look at the HP. Look at what Les is working with. Oh, he's barely breathing. Gonna wheeze his way out of this round, probably. Texture, though, he fancies his chances. Deeper angle, tricky to clear. Diligent from Les. Doesn't matter, though, does it? Gen.G tipping the scales now into their hands. 5 now to the good. And Loud haven't had an answer. And I love seeing this kind of little bit of a look back towards, you know, testing middle a little bit here. Didn't do it instantly after learning of that space that Meteor garnered way earlier in this game. And now starting to flex into it into round 9, starting to really punish the stack that they've had to put towards A, but still not able to break Gen.G's approach.
And just coming back to what we did see regionally, it was on the attacking side where Gen.G looked a little lost for, you know, any sort of mid-round ideas, how to really pivot out of tricky situations here. I'm not even really seeing what their win condition was, which was Munchkin kind of dominating late rounds on solo efforts, Texture doing the same thing in the early round. A little bit concerning here that Gen.G have relatively easily taken total control for the first half of Icebox here. It's only 1 round separating them though.
Deep flash, trying to work off the back of it. Texture
quarter, yeah.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, and we've seen that position do well. Yeah, Loud still seem to have such a good read on this B take. But anywhere else, if they go away, they're screwed. Yeah, Loud, just with a quick reminder of who they are here. The Munchkin, rough position. Does at least have time on his side, but he's got a lot of targets to handle. Goes up, lovely adjustment, but now there's problems. 9 HP and a bit of a dream, and that is not where you wanted it to go. Still got to do more here. Pressure, up close and personal. QCK going to close out the round with a defuse coming in from Tui's, but again, Loud's problems weren't on B. It was that A take that we saw Gen.G running against them that worked.
Similar to before, where we see them obviously concede this space. They're happy to have somebody watching the backside of this Viper wall, but they anticipate all of this aggression all the way towards Snowman. Less actually the one to shut it down, seal the deal on that control, but Gen.G already built up a bit of a bankroll with that string of rounds. Comfortable in the purchase, just about getting back towards some of these key ultimates coming online. On the side of Loud, Kaunzine and Tui's, who have theirs available. Operator back in the hands of QCK as well. Curious what he can get done now.
Okay, well, it's been noted early, and it's a 3-2 split for now, right? So they're going to try and keep touch on both sides of the map. But Sadak, are you ready for this? Absolutely not. Karen was holding this. We've seen a couple of rounds of them holding deep like this. It got checked on maybe once, but it's not every round. So a little bit of variety, catching Loud out once again, opening up that opportunity towards A. QCK, you're looking to backfill this. The timing is everything, though. He's got support, 2, 3 players all looking towards middle. This is massive! And a great shot from him. He needs to play this out! He needed more than that, but luckily for him, there was support, but Caron again still there. Still getting the favorable trade, still getting the spike back to hand, and it's just less now. They have no idea where he is fully, right? They're gonna lose track of that, but with 50 seconds, what does Les do?
I'm curious now of whether or not he's even caught a step. Knows that obviously the turret was removed previously. Whether or not they have a read on where Meteor's utility is going to be, I guess by default. We'll be here to hear the plant at least.
He's guessed correctly. But it's just... Oh my word! Oh! Caron! This guy is impressing me. You got Texture kind of the headliner, right? The guy towards the top of it, yeah, absolutely ripping open some of these rounds, but Caron mechanically looking sharp to close. So again, very impressed with Gen.G here. Very impressed.
And I'm curious if this is kind of something that Loud want to drill with Sadak to be the one to force the issue all the way out of B. Whether or not it's just that the turret's there, they anticipate that the heavier lean for Gen.G is outside A here, and Sadak's going to maybe have a 1v1. Or maybe somebody lurking up towards spawn ramp. But shut down so quickly that it gives Gen.G so many options. With the Killjoy falling first.
Just checking if anyone's getting up close. Not going to be rewarded for that, but again, kind of Gen.G slipping into more of a default, right? Maybe expecting that Loud be going exploring, which they've been rewarded by in the last couple of rounds. That mid presence, that lurk up B. They've truly got that kind of I'd say understanding of the tempo that Loud wants to do.
Almost trying to bait it out here with Lakia posturing a little bit with the Odin, but Loud not biting. Obviously less down on a stinger, so whether or not you see any sort of aggression here or wait to maybe retrieve a weapon off a trade or something like that. The knife going to give things away. Up on 45 seconds left here for Gen.G, but their sights set towards A.
4-play stack. High flash goes in.
Command's going to come out here.
Yep. That's going to be ready to go. So again, we were crediting and complimenting these late round hits. Loud have numbers, but do they have the ability to stop the roll from Gen.G? Already, sight is theirs. It's so comprehensive from Gen.G. Viper's Pit 2, what are you going to do against this?
So many tools there. Hang on, Karen just got warbanged. The pit's down.
Oh my
Lockdown's going to expire here, and actually the re-aggress here on Tui's and Kawanzin's ultimate.
Texture, hold on, still in a good position. Oh, the drive fight from Sadak! Ridiculous! This is how Loud
gave them the lockdown!
This. Okay, and there it is. Gen.G forced to respect it, have to drift away. Still trying to keep eyes towards the spike. Where is this? Great shot towards Tui's. Wants the fob, gets the fob! The lockdown.
He got detained!
Oh no! He just jumped a touch forward. Munchkin now, forced to go in here. Has to hold it together. He can't do it! Loud fighting back in the last round of the first half. Barely closing this up.
What a ridiculous back and forth for the final round of this half. So many ultimates in play. The pendulum really swinging. And such a crucial kill to shut down the Viper's Pit. That's the stranglehold that Gen.G had, Lauren. That drive-by is ridiculous from Sadak.
It just felt inhuman. You know, Loud will give you a couple of those, I think, but I think credit where it's due. That 5-round run that Gen.G went on was masterful, outstanding. Let's see what the desk thinks of this.
Oh, I'm so happy Icebox is back. What a start that was, and a great half of Valorant, but it's time to jump into our HyperX reflex of moment of the day, and this one goes to Texture.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this is probably the moment where we see Gen.G back into the game after Loud gets all those rounds, and it's Texture getting all these kills and doing so in a couple of rounds in a row, actually being that determining piece into, hey guys, I cannot go alone. I need you to follow right after me because they're very well positioned. But if we overwhelm them, we can make it through.
Texture and Karon, both these players who were great in Pacific, showed up here in the first half. But I think what made it for Gen.G was that flash combo and how they built those execs. The KO Gecko combo, especially when going A, was excellent, and Loud was always forced to play into retake. But towards the end of that first half, Loud's retakes really started to step things up. In particular, some of these rounds where they're kind of intentionally playing back, waiting till they hear that flash combo, and then instantly swinging forward to flood. It was really great adaptation by Loud to bring a half 6-6 that really seemed like it was going to be dominant for Gen.G.
Yeah, exactly. And now thinking about the switch, like how is this going to look from the defense? I want to see Texture just jumping up on them. I want to find that balance that I've seen from them in many other maps, just knowing when to aggress and knowing when to give the space. I feel like there was a bit of overheating coming from Loud in some of these rounds, just because they wanted to show they're the better team, they have the upper hand, and I think that calming things down probably gave Gen.G some advantage here.
Yeah, Loud on this attack side, when they're playing the Harbor Viper, they're really good at kind of playing the mid round a little bit, using the cascades to take extremities, and then having these powerful late round sight hits. But again, this is going to be about the retakes. The Gecko KO comp is really strong at that. Gen.G honestly should be favored here.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I smell a little upset coming up, but let's jump into back into the second half and see if we are indeed going to get an upset.
Yeah, Sue, I completely agree. Smooth on that one.
It stinks in here. It stinks.
You can smell it. The upset is in the air. 6-6. There is something in this game that we can't ignore. Gen.G coming out looking good, backing up the words they were happy to bring out that, hey, we weren't here when Gen.G, you know, when Loud were winning champion. None of that. So it's like, okay, we'll see. We'll see if it's actually there, if it's all just a little bit of hype talk. But for now, quick pace coming out from Loud. Making no secrets of this, but Texture, Lakia, they're all there, and they are all winning out these fights, leaving just Quarantine and Texture. He's going in!
A smile on his face as well.
Love to see it. This guy is getting fired up.
And this is a pistol round that's almost designed to take control back, get themselves back in control of the tempo after that first half, but Loud absolutely shut out of B site. Bodies in place here from Gen.G. A good boost for them as well to try and carry this across into the second half.
Oh, that's huge. All the things that can go right have been, but this is quite audacious. Loud could punish this. Oh, or not! Or not! Apparently Munchkin just gets away with murder. Eventually goes down to less, but he's just left a massacre on the ground by A. Gen.G gonna be smiling about this one too, looking clean enough. Certainly not flawless at this point, but still. What can Les do with this anymore? He can maybe claim pride's sake. He's being toyed with though. Texture's going to back off from that one. He's not liking what he's seeing, but still, what a start here.
Here's Munchkin really putting up numbers versus Secret that individually just looked absolutely phenomenal. Have another performance like that here with that round 2 of the second half. Already off to a good start in that regard. Les is going to be given a consolation here.
Maybe.
He's got to make sound to drop off here. This is Karen to be the first, but once again, shut down here. Gen.G. 2 rounds to kick off the second half. An early response here. You saw how quickly Gen.G were able to carry away once they did get control in the first. That was after Loud started 4-0.
You can't ask for much better, can you? You have your probably, one of your big name players, Texture already having a great start. Then you're pumping up Munchkin as well, starting to feel out the game. I mean, Munchkin's one away from his ult.
Yeah.
It's
in round
right
3,
there.
yeah.
Wow, got to answer back here.
He's going to get it. So the orb retrieved here outside A.
Job done.
QCK had a chance there to swing onto Lakia, but respecting it.
Careful.
So contact found, and QCK actually dashes all the way out.
Yeah, they're drifting across already, going to pull those rotations in.
Once again down to 55 HP, but obviously with the ultimate, maybe a second chance at life here. They do decide to invest. 2 Guardians, 2 Bulldogs. Next year with a scope in hand, so a little bit hesitant here.
Yeah, there's a
from
pause
Loud.
here.
I mean, they have successfully baited out the ultimate, but Munchkin still delivers. QCK will fall.
And you know what? If he didn't just get that round, he had one prior. I don't think he's swinging that on the HP, but he just delivers it again. Caron on the back lines, great shot towards Sadak. And they've just capitulated. They've faltered, which is very anti-Loud. And they pick it up here. Munchkin is still down low. County's gonna find Meteor, but no, Munchkin's still gonna hold that line just perfectly.
15 HP, still
Falls away.
delivering.
He's still holding. He's buying time for this flank. Look where Texture is. Look at the minimap right now. Come back to watching Munchkin. If he can buy a couple more seconds, precious time, that's perfect. So he's going to tuck himself in, make him try and hunt him
He gets
down.
spotted. They spotted the rifle.
He's cleared, but there's Texture. That's what it was all about, trying to buy time for him. But now the position's noted. But 13 seconds, this puts two. He's right under the gun. He's got to get that plant, or he's got to toy with the time and try and catch out Texture. But Texture's looking ice cold. He's looking like a killer. He's moving in, closing in, and he's got him dead! Gen.G off to a flying start in the second half.
Beautifully done. Munchkin running down the clock. And actually, the kill comes through. It's traded out at the perfect time by Texture. Tui's just so many question marks after that. Tries to get the cove down, tries to bait it out with the first tap of the spike, but Munchkin, man, like I said, 15 HP, still delivering, digging his heels in here. That's a 3-0 start here. Loud back down to a broken purchase. Some pistols, a stinger. Tui's an ultimate to work with, but not much else really to pin your hopes to.
And this point, unless, you know, Loud do rekindle a little bit here, that's rough. That's rough. That was ambitious and didn't work out. Now down to the 3. This is when I start worrying about the larger picture of the map pool, because we are walking into the unknown after this.
I didn't want to talk about it. Yeah,
it's early, but it's looking like 10's just around the corner. So it does make me worry about seeing Breeze.
It does.
So I'm sure the desk will, you know, hit on that afterwards, and we will, I'm sure, harp on about it. But this is certainly scary times for Loud and the fans, as Gen.G looking meticulous, flawless in this.
Double digits already here. Loud, very precarious in terms of their finances here as well, because they're going to buy back in here. Potentially, if they concede this, it's 11. This is a pivotal round in terms of the outcome of map 1 here. Sadak's unable to really convert the damage through the wallbang there. Again, I don't think it really would have made too much of a difference. Gen.G well equipped on both sides of the map.
They're having fun. Every round just seems fun to them, which is, it sounds silly, but it makes such a difference.
Yeah, and the concern being coming into round 17, there aren't enough real playmakers in terms of the ultimates here to string together for Loud. They need to do some heavy lifting here to find their way into this. Yes, Tui's is there, but feels a little flaky in a full 5v5 execute to throw that ultimate out.
So early.
Texas spotted it out as well. I mean, look at how deep Gen.G are pushing now.
Yep.
They're so happy to continue this limit testing here and forcing Loud. I mean, look at the minimap now. There's no other options really.
Too risky to go anywhere else. So
well, Loud are still considering it. With 60 seconds on the clock, they're going to potentially re-explore mid or A.
I just feel like I haven't seen Loud play like this in a long time.
It's hesitant once again. Noted it in the first half.
Which is bizarre. It could prove a nice little fake, having Sadak do this to be, you know, the one to show. But you're leaving the rest of Loud, you know, QCK, Tui's, to walk into A and just hope they succeed. There's still 2 players there. They haven't pulled these rotations.
That's a big kill, though.
That is huge, but again, I'm looking at the 2 players on A. Now, less court Texture. That's the one that mattered. There is still a man close by. That being Lakia. Can he do any damage? Can he be the man? No, not this round, not now. QCK with a quick beheading and looking to dominate, looking to control this site, make sure it was worth it. A long played fake coming out from Loud. Very valuable and very well handled. It's just Meteor now. Position is noted. And Loud looking like they clawed one back here.
I was going to say, need to keep it clean here. I just want to see Meteor getting any other consolation. A must-win round for Loud, and they deliver. Obtaining 4 rifles, a little bit better in terms of the progress towards these ultimates now. A crucial kill from Sadak and Cowanzine to remain outside B site here. Try and catch a rotation. It just so happened at pretty much exactly the same time.
Yeah.
The other half of Loud did find success on A as well, catching, I believe it was Texture to fall first, and Lakia second on the chopping block. Operator back out for Texture here, Bladestorm in hand, but I said with that round victory, actually Loud now with the upper hand in terms of this ult cycle. Nothing available just yet, but look towards the Hunter's Fury. Obviously, the pit and the lockdown in this composition, all within touching distance.
Well, the mid-walk will have limited success, at least initially, so the turrets, that should alert Loud that there was an attempt, but no one particularly fussed by it just yet. Still very focused on this approach. Again, these 3-2 splits. Last time it was more kind of 4-1, Sadak being the one to pressure towards A. And look at the pull-up rotations. 4 players in response. This could be quite, you know, the masterclass if Sadak can keep calling these fakes that are pulling the rotations. Lucky his timing was just out of this world. QCK caught unawares, but Cowanzin's there to back it up, so still going to keep players close by. But now Loud need to strike, right? They need to kind of find that timing to hit B here.
They do.
Caron is holding.
They need to capitalize because Munchkin's slowly edging, making his way through mid, under tube. Plant will come down. I don't think Karen can deny. Oh, nearly catches Sadak on a retreat though.
Okay, they got what they wanted.
We do have a late Hunter's Fury here though, so whether there's any backline awareness or Munchkin's going to be the one to potentially try and shut that down. Actually invested, but not going to find. Yeah, not going to find anything on the back of that.
No, so now we wait and see. Does that pressure start mounting? Can Gen.G break the back line? They've already pulled Munchkin back through towards a standardized approach. This is now going to get scary, right? There's the Hunter's Fury, going to be drawn out from the tap of the spike. Spray from 2Es is good. Follow-up is better. They're holding on to this. Munchkin going down on 2Es. Exceptional work there. Loud finding life, finally.
And a couple of those and potential to break the funds of Gen.G. Actually, even looking at it here, Karen's down at 23.50. Maybe that's why we see the timeout here. You have to string something together, but really well coordinated here. It's obviously QCK, heartbreaking to ever see a death like that. He's just a split second away from maybe slipping into a more dangerous position.
But the overall picture, it's Loud achieving great success on these kind of fakes. To an extent, I say fakes, but it's just kind of showing presence on the other side of the map. I mean,
yeah,
it's
a widespread default that they are finding value on both extremities.
But it is so widespread, and it does make me slightly nervous. For now, it's working, so I'm not going to doubt it, right? It's silly to doubt something that is proving fruitful. But as said, when you saw QCK catching some really bad timing, fortunately, Cowanzin was there. But it's quite precarious. They're willing to make these risks, which is working out for them really well here. Forcing the timeout from Gen.G. The gap getting close enough, they thought, okay, let's pump the brakes a little here. We don't want that momentum. Almost a response to what we saw from an earlier timeout from Loud. So very symmetrical in that matter. So we kind of check in on the ult. Almost again, very symmetrical in that regard. Both very close by. So this isn't just back in Loud's control. I think these have been some quite precarious rounds they've run. Obviously, Loud being as good as they are, they make them work. Exceptionally done. Now we're into the meat of it, though.
The concern being if you have somebody that's going to deliver for Gen.G, I guess across the map and from an individual standpoint, players like Texture, like Munchkin, potentially even Karen in these situations. I mean, it was called upon in the previous round, but not much of a chance to really stop that plant from going down. That's when it feels a little uneasy.
Oh, late switch as well. Just about, yeah. So Texture going to go for the operator, soloing out A, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, very, very early indication here of some aggression on the side of Gen.G. Loud have to respect it now. I think initially they were going to throw a little bit of U2 out. Texture able to control that op shot. Could have been rewarded wrong. Karen.
How did he get seen there?
Not entirely sure, but both snake bites used, and now doesn't really have the security to play up close and personal. As Loud look to re-aggress, but will shut down the owl drone. So question mark still here.
Audacious from Munchkin to be the one to go back in.
No
oh,
way.
Come on. That's filthy. Backbreaking for Loud as well, just to lose out to that judge. They've got the upgrades they wanted to. Karen was willing to die for that. That's fine. He'll take that every day of the week. You guys lock it down afterwards. I've done the damage. Less than QCK now in that position at yellow could be the end of the Munchkin. Still holding on to this one. QCK going to try and check close, loses out. And left now, there's so much and so little opportunity.
This is so bizarre. I think at some point Karen spotted. Whether or not they don't see he's got a judge, I think is the issue. The knife obviously removes the owl drone, and immediately Gen.G re-aggress. They post up close once again. You see here just under the minimap. Obviously the suppress onto Cowanzin. Loud just caught off guard a little bit here.
but a nice gambit, right? A nice little just, okay,
Sure.
get the judge, play up close, see what we can do, right? And you're willing to give it a run. We're back into a more traditional looking round, it seems. I think apart from QCK, but he does have his ults, that's not a problem. But a Brawl looking to break out. Lackey, the first one forward, finds the scalp of two. He's looking for the follow-up. He's going to get at least an attempt at it, but backups arrived. Caron, Munchkin, all here. Dizzy goes out. Lackey is still buying time. Sadak still putting up numbers though. Body's starting to drop here. Can he do any more damage? Lackey is holding his nerve. I don't know how he's still doing this. Oh, less lovely work from him. But look, you can see the crunch, right? Texture is on the way. Meteor, how long do you hold here? How long are you going to stay
Look at the flank
here?
from Texture.
He's on the way, but...
He's already on the outside of this lockdown.
Oh my word, Meteor. Scary to me.
A little bit curious.
Yeah, don't know what the game plan was there. Mike, did I miss something?
A little bit curious. There is a space in that, so he had a chance to at least, I don't know, take a 50-50 back up into the corner there.
Better than a 0. I mean...
Because then Texture's completely caught off guard.
Yeah, that was...
Scratching my head a little bit over that one, but I mean, maybe just a little frantic, maybe expecting Loud to push up and maybe, I guess, lack a little complacency. But after the start of this round where Gen.G time and time again have shown they're happy to be aggressive on A, yeah, left scratching their head as well.
Maybe we missed something, maybe so did Gen.G at that point.
I mean, I did touch on this initially, the plans for Gen.G, and talking back to some of these series that we saw recently, the initial plan, and things kind of just going really skew if after that falls apart. They're not really knowing what to do, not really having any direction when, you know, there's sort of a little bit of chaos or there's some questions to answer mid-round, and a reaction is really required from them, but yeah, I'm not sure.
And funny enough, it's a timeout from Loud here. Maybe to let them just...
take stock of things, obviously you're getting towards the end of this Gen.G up on 11 rounds, but...
Look at the string of rounds, though. It has been the 2 back-to-back for Loud with those lovely kind of, wider defaults, more exploratory towards A as well. One right back into it, and then the answer just then, there was a very uncharacteristic round, kind of caught us all off guard. But we refocus and we look towards what we're seeing, and Gen.G's money has suffered. Yeah,
I mean, 2 Guardians and a Vandals come into this, but look at what the old cycle is potentially going to be in the next round for them.
Snowball.
Yeah. Lots of things at their disposal. Less than 2 E's ultimates on the other side. QCK, an operator back in hand once again. Gen.G happy to continue. I mean, it's 4 deep here on A site. Now going to try and make a quick decision on the back of that.
Oh! Shots.
Les absolutely decapitates Lakia.
Les is pretty decent at this game, isn't he?
Texture going to swing on it as well. Yep.
Oh! The baiting, though. They tried to play him in off it, but it looked like Loud was starting to really get that read. Starting to feel a bit more comfortable, seeing a little bit of that diligence, kicking back into place. Meteor and Munchkin just trying to make anything happen, and Les is having none of it, really, just free farming now. He's already got his ult. Oh, the moves. Not going to happen there, Munchkin.
Really, really well handled anti-eco here, and that's the sort of composure we expect from Loud to punish these sort of plays, keep Gen.G in check. To say that though, 11-10 the scoreline, still need to tie things up. Bladestorm out of the equation, but these big ultimates still available for Gen.G. Lockdown, no command, and the pit.
They are looming, right? There is that slight worry. It's just kind of hanging over the head.
I mean, I'm worried because we're already at this scoreline here.
When do they pull the trigger?
To be honest, with how Gen.G have performed, the nature of some of these round victories, it's been really telling. They were the ones really that set the precedent at the start of this map, and in my eyes have continued.
I agree. Now, operators come out for QCK this time. Looking to maybe work off the back of that owl drone, clearing the space towards B. We do see there is a player tucked in by yellow, and massive rotations, actually. 4 players being called back in towards B. Maybe just off the back of a lack of any audio cues, any presence towards A. Maybe putting stock in this now after falling foul to those A presence plays. But already you can see that flash coming in and the fight starts. Caron with a fantastic double. Finding Les, finding Kawanzin, and they are running.
Yeah, Texture. The anchor over towards A. So Sadak.
Ooh, he's seen him.
Does catch a glimpse. But a crucial 1v1 here.
Does he go again? Texture. You can see him. He was considering it for a second, but he thinks better of it, right? Play safe, play your life. The double pump.
Wait, yeah, 2E's has just completely faked this out with that utility.
Look at that spike running. That's so good. And the lockdown. Oh, and do you know what? If
This is
Sadak feels like
devastating.
he's being a galaxy brain, get into middle if you feel like he could, but he's going to back up his boys, get back towards the side. They're going to get a plant out. They don't know the level of success they've had, but they could not have asked for a better outcome, making the impossible possible. And now how deep does QCK go here? Oh, that's perfect. Meteor's out of there. Fair now. 3v3. Ridiculous. Munchkin still got ult, still got knife. Not much utility outside of that, though. Where do they find that success?
Yeah, no,
QCK at yellow here.
no flash to really open things up here, so it's going to be a dry gunfight on the way back through. Munchkin drifting pretty deep here.
Here we go. This is a scary time. Spots
Oh,
him for a second. A pixel out of place, but he's worried about the fuse texture. Punishing QCK. I thought he saw him, but maybe it was just a stray shot. Tui's now getting paranoid, getting pulled in, and maybe texture going to close that gap. He's trying to. Sadak in the same sort of position, and now Tui's. Oh, he's overwhelmed. Gen.G. This time is down to the wire.
Oh my God.
No way.
And again, it's a little chaotic there because I don't think the communication is clear on whether or not the diffuse is being stuck.
No, they had no idea.
Both individual players from Loud, I think, spot out 2 members of Gen.G, but they're just charging to, or maybe they think they had the timing down and they just need to get bodies off the spike. But this kill onto Sadak here almost seals the deal with Tui's spamming so much. 0.26 will get Gen.G to map point here.
Oh, wow. That is a kick to the guts for Loud, though, isn't it? Feeling winded after that one, after calling the perfect rotation.
That felt done.
Yeah, but Texture
Loud had done everything they needed to.
He's going walkabouts and Sadak. He's missed his timing to catch this. It will eventually show, sure, but by now,
That's
space gone. This scares me. This scares me. Look who's lurking, look who's waiting. Texture could be in for a blinding round. Bear in mind, he could get played in Balakia here as well. There is that opportunity.
This is rough because the pings are coming out. You can see on the minimap here, Nest and Pipes have been pinged.
No idea about Texture.
Oh my God.
Does he keep his cool?
He just hard cleared under on the wrong side.
Oh my God, they line up! And he almost knocked him down, but Lakia swings into that last minute, punishing Kalanzine. This is looking like Loud is on the ropes in map 1 here. Opportunity dwindling. Less than 2, he's gonna have to dig deep now.
Yeah, detained. Up on Pipes here, it's less. Left standing, but Lakia will fall now.
They need more. That can't be enough, it needs to be more. A 2v3. Spike still in the hands of Tui's, and Let's trying to control the site.
Does have the pip, but obviously the null command going to remove that. Meteor will fall here. Let's going to get another one. He has indeed. Oh my God.
What an absolute beast. When Loud needed him, he was there.
And Gen.G just seemingly no awareness that he was going to stay tucked into that corner.
I thought there was going to be Texture's moment, right? You're looking at that round, you run it back, you look at the minimap, surely gets to bailout from Lakia coming in less. What is
He's
that?
just so clean. I mean, even here to react to Munchkin,
Like,
throwing
tucks the
his
corner
life
as well.
on the line.
God tier, God tier.
Gen.G to pump the brakes a little bit after a heartbreaking round loss. And that will break the bank as well. Ultimate's invested. Karen's still with the pit, but I feel like Loud come out of that gleaming. Definitely with the upper hand here. A pit of their own, 1 away from the lockdown, 2 off the Hunter's Fury as well. And a shot to the heart of Gen.G, who probably felt like they were closing out map 1 there, Lauren.
Oh man, yeah, oh come on, you're feeling that, right? Like you, as said, you look at that mini-map, you play that back in your mind, you think, how does that play out? You're putting Gen.G up there, right? That's, anyone would. But then there's one man less standing
Absolute
there. What
superstar.
A talent. What a talent. And that is again, when you talk about value of kills, Les has got 25 kills. He is currently leading by a country mile. The value of those kills just then have kept Loud alive in map 1.
And the value of round 23 alone, sorry.
And he's broken the money.
Yeah.
Money's in tatters for Gen.G. It's never stopped them before, but in a moment like this, gotta still those nerves now.
Sadak, if he can sniff this out early on, turret's going to go out. Yeah, Sadak immediately bolting away.
Something.
Yeah, exactly.
He can feel it. And Sadak's calls, I've got to say, have been quite nice, especially on this half. I've been liking what I've been seeing. Now much info does he get? Okay, a little bit of info. Not going to have the full weight
That
behind it,
should
but
be
it
the
should
green
enough.
light. Absolutely is. Utility invested now. A-site up for grabs. QCK happy to take this space away. Meteor, will he get a chance to find anything here? But he's only got a Guardian. He's found one.
Massive, massive work. And now they're halted. The rotations are going to be in. Loud might have dropped the ball at the final hurdle. But Meteor getting a little too ahead of himself. Still wanted to do more. 50 seconds. There's time for rotations.
Texture, the only one actually in a position to catch this. Doesn't overcommit, but it's a little bit of a fake. It's pulled Lakia. So potentially going to pull Karen as well. They spotted the cross, but Loud immediately drift back towards A. And look at the map now.
They've been conditioned to respond to this. This is what Loud was doing during those string of rounds. So now it's all on Munchkin. He's trying to play ahead. This is so brave, so bold. He's going to take 1, 2. Oh, I thought a third.
That's
could have
huge,
happened.
though.
But it's massive. The site is open, though. And with Les still alive, there is always going to be a chance.
And he has a pit to play with here. 1 snake bite left. Tui's commits to the plant.
Plants in. First fight. He's got it. The drop down, did he spot it? It doesn't matter. Tui's there. And now just Caron. This guy has to step up. He's got to try and do something. But so much against him. And look at the reposition from Les. So hard to find, and Tui's going to try and play his life. But Karen takes it away. 1v1. He knows where he is, but what are you going to do
Les is
about
wrapping
it?
heaven. It's
He's
buying
toying with
so
him.
much time.
But can he get a safe defuse here?
I don't think you can actually get an
Can
angle
he
on
spam
this.
it? Can he stop this? Because Karen ain't stopping. He's going.
No
That's
way!
gonna be 13, and it is Gen.G steal away the 13th round. Heartbreak for the hero, Les having to watch that slip away.
Karen, the rookie,
Ice
closing
cold.
out with a Red Bull clutch versus none other than Les. What a ridiculous way for this map one to conclude. And the penny drops just too late here.
Bloody hell. What a map one. What
That
a
was
map one.
ridiculous.
Come on, this has been unbelievable. I've got to have the Death Thoughts. I've got to have map 2. Let's get out of here.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics. So many selfies.
A preposterous amount of panos!
That means panoramic. And as many portraits of me as your heart desires.
How about none?
None, yeah, none feels right.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro and iPad and Apple Watch SE all on us. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.